Today we're going to be talking about 9 perfect New Year's Eve cast-ons that are going to take you into the new year. They are going to be the perfect companions for the night of New Year's Eve. If you, like me, are certainly not going to go to a party and just need to have something to occupy your time as you wait until it is midnight, as is obligatory on New Year's Eve. So, what makes a great New Year's Eve cast-on? The patterns I've selected have one or more of the following traits. They are relatively quick knits. When I'm starting out a new habit, new year, what have you, I want an easy win. So this is going to be something that is easy to cast on and easy to get off the needles. That way you're going to start out your new year right. Number 2. They are going to be either Advent, scrappy, or single skein yarn friendly. So if you have Advents that you invested in and are super excited to use, some of these patterns might be perfect for that. Otherwise, if you're trying to bust some of your scrap stash, there's ones for that as well. And if you have that beautiful single perfect skein of yarn that you receive for Christmas, but you don't have any plans for or other yarns to put it into a larger project with, I'm going to help you out with that as well. Without further ado, let's get into these potential New Year's Eve cast-ons. Okay, so first one I have is going to be perfect for some little sock yarn scraps you have, or maybe you just have a lot of mini skeins sitting around. I don't know your life. This pattern is also a freebie, so you're already going to be starting out your budget right for 2024. They are what are called Skimmer Socks. So these are socks that don't show above your shoes, and you're going to be able to knit one of these using like 1 or 2 balls of scrap yarns or mini skeins. And they are super cute. They go down really close to the toe, and they also have a little bit of a heel tab, so you'll get a little protection from your shoe if that is something that you're looking for. You could do these in a neutral color and really make them no-show, or this is like the perfect pattern to use some really bright, vibrant, random sock yarns that you have. I actually really like wearing shorties and socks like this in my boots, because oftentimes I feel like a little bit of sock coming up the top of my boot gives me, especially if I'm wearing them like over leggings, gives me kind of like a cankle situation. So great boot socks as well if you're looking for some of those. Oh, it looks like there's a YouTube tutorial to talk about that. There's lots of different sizes for these. Next up, if you are on KnitTube, you know that it is the year of the hot water bottle. I don't know why I said it like that. Probably because I'm trying to do an English accent, but that was a major fail. Look at this one I got for Christmas. It's mini. All right, so the pattern I'm going to share by Laura Penrose, who is Penrose Knits, I believe, on YouTube. And it is the Maxine hot water bottle cover. This is a new release. And look at it. It's so cute. And look at all these different beautiful colorways. This, again, is going to be a perfect way to use up your Advent or any scrap yarns you have. You hold the 2 fingering weight yarns double, or of course you can sub in a DK yarn. So, Laura, we need a mini version. Just kidding, I can figure it out myself. Like she watches this, that's hilarious. Okay, next one is going to be the Simply Scrappy Cowl. So this is a pretty basic cowl pattern. It's got eyelets. You use up different scrappy amounts. The pattern calls for 24 mini skeins of 5 grams, and most mini skeins are going to be like 10 or 20 grams. I think. So you can knit 2 of these at least, I think. Math? All right. Well, that is going to be a perfect, easy, in the round knitting project. Again, for your scraps or your mini skeins. Or if you want to, you could do it just in one color and have a beautiful eyelet cowl in just, your most beautiful skein of fingering weight yarn. Next, this is for my fellow yarn thrifters, or maybe just buyers of single skeins of yarn. If you thrift yarn, you know that often you're just getting smaller quantities and not necessarily like sweater quantities worth of yarn. So I am planning on knitting this in the new year. I probably won't cast it on for New Year's Eve, but it is a shawl pattern. It's called The Night Shift by Andrea Mowry, and it's going to use up a bunch of different colors of yarn. You can use solid colors, you can use color changing balls, like gradient balls of yarn, and it's gonna knit up into this absolutely beautiful and super cozy looking shawl. And the gauge is worsted weight, so it's a pretty big shawl, but at least you're working with worsted weight yarn, so it won't take you forever. The needles are 5mm needles, and you're gonna need about 900 yards of yarn. But again, you're gonna be able to throw all your different special worsted weight skeins or just random leftovers and things that you got at Goodwill like me. So that is number, I'm not sure, but we're just gonna move on to the next one. This is the Soho Square. And again, this is gonna be great for using up little oddments of yarn. Maybe you have one full skein and you want to pair it with some mini skeins or some scraps. It comes in 3 sizes, and the names of the sizes are so cute. There is the wrap, the scarf, and the wink. And so the wrap is a 50-inch square, scarf is a 36-inch square, and the wink is a 22-inch square. And each one is going to use 3 colors, although you could mix it up and do more or less colors. I love the look of it as a little headscarf. That is just so cute. All right. Yeah, that is a fingering weight yarn project. But if you're adventurous, you could change the weight. You just go up or down a needle size and do whatever works for your yarn. Next, we have, if you thought I wasn't going to include a baby knit, you don't know me. We have the Baby Bear Balaclava. So I have knit the Baby Bear bonnet 3 times and the Baby Bear suit once. I have yet to knit the Baby Bear Balaclava, but it is next on my list. It calls for fingering weight yarn and a lace weight mohair, and you hold those together and you knit just the cutest balaclava that you ever did see. If you just wanted to go with maybe like a sport weight and leave out the mohair, that works. And this is gonna be for sizes anywhere from 6 months, and the pattern goes up to 8 years old. So super versatile pattern, one to add to your stash, and just, knit every size of balaclava so that even your 8-year-old has ears. I wonder how they would feel about that. Okay, then we have the Easiest Triangle. This is another free pattern. This is from the Castaway Yarn Shop, which is a yarn shop in Santa Rosa. Shout out to our California little yarn stores. And this is going to be a pattern for any gauge of yarn. And I mean, you could not ask for something more kind of simple and easy to knit. Maybe a Sophie scarf. So honorary mention Sophie scarf. But this one is going to give you a nice little triangle. You can knit it for as long as you want to, so you could just do a little kerchief for your hair or your neck, or you can knit it all the way up into a big triangular shawl. And honestly, you could figure out this yourself, but it's a free pattern and someone else already figured it out, so just use whatever they did. All right, next we've got some stuffies. So this is the Good Bear pattern. I have knit the Good Bunny pattern. I have yet to knit the Good Bear pattern. And again, this is one that I'm planning on knitting in the new year. This, depending on how my other projects go, this one might be my New Year's Eve cast on because it has been on my list for a long time and I have the pattern. But what you're gonna get is the pattern for the stuffed bear, and let me tell you, it is way simpler than you think it's gonna be. If you have not knit any stuffed animal patterns before, this is one to start with. It is really not complicated and it involves almost no sewing, which is always the worst part of stuffed animal patterns in my opinion. The main color for the bear is going to be 20 grams. It calls for a sport weight, but of course you could just go up or down a needle size and work with whatever yarn you have on hand. You just want to make sure you match the clothes gauge so that the clothes aren't like too small or too big for the size bear you knit. So 20 grams for the main color, and then everything else is going to use like 20 grams or less. And so again, perfect mini skein project, perfect scrappy project, and they provide like the number of grams you need for each of the little pieces of clothing so that you can weigh your yarn and figure out, okay, but like this will be the perfect yarn to use for the cardigan and this one for the colorwork sweater. You gotta knit this bear. It's so cute. Oh, I need to guess this on. So this one is the, I'm gonna definitely say this wrong, Hydra mitts, which I do believe means ivy in Danish. Don't quote me. And this pattern is by Fibertails, who is Fibertails on YouTube. You should check her out. And these mitts are so quick to knit. I have made these. I made them for my mother-in-law for Christmas last year, and super quick knit. They fly off the needles. They've got really amazing cabled details on them, and at the end you put in these braids that go on either side of the cable, which is just a process I really love. Also, look at these pictures, absolutely stunning. She's a photographer, so you know, we can't all take pictures that good. These take less than one ball of worsted weight yarn. So you're knitting them in worsted weight. That's gonna knit up really quick, and if you have a special skein of worsted weight yarn, put them into these mitts because you're gonna wear them. They are gonna be warm and lovely. And she also has a headband pattern that matches the mitt, so you can make a match set, and she does a discount if you buy them both. I know because I bought them both. Okay, and last I have the Tulip and the Tulip Mini, I believe is what it's called. So you're saying, hey, I thought you said these knits were gonna be quick. That's a whole sweater. You're right. This is not going to be the quickest knit in the list. It is, as you mentioned, a whole sweater. But it is a sweater that you knit cropped and with right around 0 inches of ease. So in terms of how quickly sweaters are going to knit up, I think this one's going to be pretty fast. It says it's a sport weight gauge. I don't think so. This is 2 strands of unspun yarn held with a strand of mohair, knit on 5mm needles. You know, I trust Melody, but I think that's worsted weight. Oh, I forgot to mention the pattern is Melody Hoffman, and she is Mandarins on YouTube. You should check her out. And then we also have the Little Tulip, and this is going to be from 0 months up to 12 years old. So again, another super versatile pattern. You'll be able to knit this one a couple times as your kid is growing up. And look how adorable. So if you only have like a couple skeins of yarn, that you need to use, this is going to be perfect. It'll take some, but not as much as knitting an adult-sized garment, which is the best part about baby knitting. It's fast and it's cheaper. So definitely check that one out. Again, this one, I'm not sure if this is going to be my Christmas Day cast on or my New Year's Eve cast on, but this one is on my list to cast on very soon. I hope you enjoyed those patterns. If you did and you enjoy this sort of content, please consider liking and subscribing. I don't tend to say that in my videos just because it feels so strange, but it does really help the channel. And I am hoping to bring lots more pattern roundups and other sorts of videos for you in 2024. See you then. Bye.